Guild Wars 2 has some great features already in the game, such as the wardrobe collection system and automated PvP tournaments. However, there are many that are sorely missed. Here are my top 5 missing features in Guild Wars 2, in no specific order. Let's start with the first one. A more customizable UI is heavily needed. You can change the size, and to some extent you can also swap places. For example, the minimap and the chat can be swapped from bottom to top or other way around. That is okay. But most other MMOs let you customize your UI, your HUD completely. So you can change where they are. If you want, you can have them in the middle of the screen, at the side of the screen. You can completely remove them. And in Guild Wars, it's only possible to remove those features. But if you want to have them, for example, your live pool, your chat, there is not a way to make it, for example, in the middle of the screen or something. So you always have to use the predetermined positions. And not only about the general elements of the UI, but also about, for example, where the buff bar is and where the target is, how big the health bar of the target is and stuff. This is not customizable at all. Especially the buff bar is extremely important for new players to understand what they currently have on them. For example, boons, conditions, but also buffs like super speed, or even buffs like signets, or buffs that are not important to other people. For example, experience boosters and stuff. All that is shown on the buff bar. And it's really, really cluttered at times. Even if you're starting out, your buff bar might be already cluttered. You can't customize it, you can't make it bigger, you can't see, for example, stability, which is a really important boon, for example, in World vs. World, because there are so many other things like boons and stuff that are cluttering up all the things that you don't really need to see at the time. So it's really important that there are in-game features that make that easier for people to understand. Not only for new players, but also for veterans, because veterans still have the problem, because it's the same issue. You can't see what is on your screen because there's so much other stuff going on. Let's go to the next feature. The next feature, in my opinion, are fashion templates. Equipment templates are already in the game, and those are really good. You can easily swap from a healing build to a DPS build or something. But you lose, to some extent, the fashion that is applied, the skins that you applied to your things. Because you can have different fashions on different gears, but if you want to run the same gear with different fashion, you have to use an equipment template for that. And to make things even worse, dice are not copied. So it's really annoying that you have to copy a build and use an equipment template as a fashion template, but still having to manually select all the dice that you did in the first time. So I think that would just be an amazing feature for people that are interested in fashion, and just having the same system applied and staying with fashion. I would say the next feature that I want is dyeable weapons. In Guild Wars there were dyeable weapons, and in Guild Wars 2 this feature is sorely missed. Why is that? Because there are a lot of weapon skins, and sometimes the dice just not fit to your fashion. And if you are really, into fashion wars, then it would be really cool to change the dye from a red maybe to a green dye, and the weapon would fit perfectly to your set. And I think they could make it really interesting together with the fashion templates, because they could sell you dye slots, or could sell you fashion templates even more than you normally have, and they would make some money with it. Because I think it's really important that ArenaNet has to develop features that give them money. Using, for example, the fashion templates. You get 2 for free, and if you want to buy more, you can buy them with gems, so they can make money out of it. I think that is a really important thing to consider, because we are having another subscription game, so it's really important that they can make money out of the features that develop and release. That's also true for the UI. Don't get me wrong here. I think if they invest time into improving the UI thing, they will get more people to buy the game after they tried the free trial, so to say. Because the UI is actually a big criticism of the game when people try it out. And therefore I think they would heavily increase the new player population. Now away from the fashion. Let's talk about the LFG. So the looking for group system in Guild Wars 2 is okay. Don't get me wrong, it's really okay-ish. It's not crazy good, but it does its job. And I think to rework it is really hard to make it better. Because the most important thing is that it does its job, and it does that. But I think a decluttering would be the least that they could do. There are a lot of categories that are not used, or just really not needed, and therefore we should just combine them and declutter the whole system. What would be even better would be a duty finder, like in WoW or Final Fantasy. They have really good duty finders. But in Guild Wars 2 that's really hard to implement. So I think that would be an amazing feature, so that you can just say, I'm DPS, I want to queue up for Veil Guardian, and then you instantly get a pop or something. That would be insane. But I think that's way too hard in Guild Wars to implement. So it's on my wish list, but I don't see it happening because Guild Wars 2 is not the typical healer DPS tank. It's way more complicated. You have a lag heal, you have quick heal, you have all these things. And then sometimes you are important to tank with toughness, sometimes do not. I would say it's really difficult, but maybe they can make it work in the future. That would be an amazing feature, and I think that would improve not only for new players, but also for veterans the game by quite a lot. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the video. If you do, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I'm out again. Before I get to the last feature, I would like to mention a couple of community favorites, honorable mentions so to speak. These are the starter maps revamps, and maybe even a new starting zone with a whole new race like Tengu. Also, some weird people actually play games with a controller. And I think they want to do that in Guild Wars 2, so native controller support might be something they want as well. But I have to be honest, I can't even imagine playing Guild Wars 2 with a controller, so it's just a rumor at this point. And for all your fashion addicts out there, I think a clean photo mode would be a very valuable feature to show off your hand-picked armor skin combinations that some thief can now steal from you with the fashion inspect feature. And now to the last point I want to make. I think the infusion system is horrible. You need agony infusions to play fractals. However, in all other game modes, infusions are just a cosmetic or a really minor thing that you can add to your build. And it's really difficult for new people to understand how it works, and it doesn't really have a big payoff. So I think it would be important to decouple the stats from infusions and the skins they can provide. So I would say that infusion, especially agony, should be account-wide, so that people can try different builds and fractals without having to gear their new character with infusions. The next thing I would do is the stat infusions, either remove them or make them like really easy to apply. And the last thing I would do, and that's the important thing, I would decouple fashion infusions, like for example the Chuck infusion, or let's say not that expensive ones like the ghostly infusions. The skin effect should be decoupled from the value that they provide, so that you can easily equip all the infusions without showing off the skin that you currently might have to show off because the infusion is just coupled to it. I think there should be some kind of wardrobe item or multiple ones where you can easily select, I want this infusion on my character and this infusion, and then you get the look. And in the same manner, I would say that if you drop a check infusion, you can sell it. But as soon as you equip it, or as soon as you bind it to your account, you will lose the ability to sell it, and it will be like an account-bound skin. That's really important to me because the prices would not decrease anymore over time. They will also be thrown out of the economy because people use it and then they have to bind it to their account. That's a really important feature. And then you can easily use them on different characters without swapping the infusion. I think that's just annoying. If you have such a big ticket item and you still have the inconvenient thing to do to just always remove the infusion and put it back on another character, that's just annoying. It should be really nice and sweet that you can use it on every single character as soon as you unlocked it. And that would make infusions way more valuable in that sense because it's really easy to use then and it's like a skin. So those are my features that I really want in Guild Wars 2. I have to be honest, I don't see them happening anytime soon, but a guy can dream. Let me know in the comments what features you want to see in Guild Wars 2. I would be really interested to see if I missed something that I also want to have. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. I hope to see you in the next video.